Ooga booga. Audio should be good on both OBS and in Discord. To start the Poicast off, I'm fucking lighting a cigarette. Because this is going to be fucking hell. So we got a lot to talk about. We missed a Poicast, sure. But there's a lot to talk about. And some of it pisses me off. So to start off, I think it's going to be a good Poicast. While saying that, though, that's better. Fuck. So, welcome to here, Poicast 170. Or at least I think. Honestly, we stopped counting for like a year, so we might have more. But VRChat is going to be the main topic of today's Poicast, as I am fucking angry for a couple of reasons. One, the most recent update. Two, the instability, and we'll talk about a few other things that also piss me off. Now, welcome to here. I know it's 170, so kind of special, I guess. I don't know. It's a lot of fucking podcasts. That's at least 170 weeks of Poicast. That is fucking insane to think about. While saying that, though, VRChat recently... there are changes to the economy. We've been expecting it for a little while now. Ultimately, the way that it's played out is... I don't know what they thought would happen. What do you think happens when you piss off a majority of your user base, or at least a lot of your user base? The servers going down are a direct consequence of that update coming out, without a question of a doubt. There's no doubt in my mind somebody was DDoSing their API over the new update that came out in regards to the creator economy. Now, how the creator economy works is pretty what you'd expect, given the take that Steam, given what Steam takes, given what Oculus and all that other bullshit takes. Now, ultimately, we're not a fan of how it's being implemented, nor the effects that it's having on worlds that we've seen so far. Like, for instance, having to pay money for the mirror on the Black Cat is fucking ridiculous. Paying money for cosmetic items like a duck in a world is absolutely insanity, and only children will buy those things. Needlessly adding more to a world that already was great. Needlessly adding blocks, roadblocks, adding ways that prevent us from enjoying the game as much or as well as we should. The way that it's been implemented as a whole, at least from what I've seen currently, I'm not a fan of. I don't like how the split works. I don't like the percentages that are being taken. I'm not a fan of it at all. And the reaction that the community's had in general is fair. Normally, I would be bitching about it. Normally, I'd be like, okay, a large part of the community's pretty fucking wrong. No, that's bullshit. The community is not wrong in any regard here. VRChat fucked up with this new update. How it's played out so far is fucking ridiculous. How we've seen it affect the game so far is ridiculous. It's a given that when you implement such a drastic change to a game that used to be about fun and enjoyment, you're gonna get hurt whenever you implement a major change like that. And when your user base has a very large portion of sketchy people, whether they're script kiddies, hackers, whatever, it's happened almost every major update. How can you guys not know that you're going to get hit offline by the shitty portion of your community, affecting who knows how many countless events, not just our own? The unprepared nature of the recent changes makes me question a lot. It makes me question exactly why it was pushed out when it was, who pushed it out, what is the deal there? Now, ultimately, their API going down, fuck whoever did that. I highly doubt that was an accident. But the reaction in general from the community is pretty poor. It seems people as a whole are pretty unhappy with the direction that it's going. Now, ultimately, this is something that should have brought positivity and happiness to the community. Something that should have made the groups, made communities, made individuals grow and excel, which it still can, and it still probably will to a large degree. But I don't know, man. It feels like capitalists are taking charge of VRChat over what we've been used to. And it's been pretty fucking clearly stated, especially in the graphs that we've seen, that that's the case. Now, ultimately, Steam is going to take a large percentage of their income no matter what. Steam normally takes 30% just on their own. Now, ultimately, how much a creator gets, fair enough, I guess. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's the best they're going to have. It's the best they're going to do. But it's ridiculous. The way that it's being used currently is exactly how we feared it would. It's going to be used like IMVU or SL, putting even basic shitty cosmetics under paywall, promoting not quality. You're promoting shit being flooded onto the market in mass quantity and volume. That's all you're doing. It's not improving the quality of models, and it won't for a long time. It may add extra revenue sources for creators, but ultimately the quality of the product is going down because of these changes. The quality of worlds, the quality of experiences, it's on the decline because of what I can only assume are hastily made decisions without talking to the community, without gaining input on what we think is right, what the people who actually play the game would like. Now, a lot of people are in support of the change as well, which is fair. I think given the way that the current system works, given how much other companies want of a individual's earnings, it makes sense. And I'm not going to give VRChat shit for it. Ultimately, the majority of the blame lies on Steam, Meta. It lies on corporations that are fucking funneling your money away from you, when in reality, they shouldn't be taking anywhere near the portions that they are. It is ridiculous. I think any company deserves the right to have a chance to grow and to make a positive source of income. But the way that it's been brought to us, the way that it's been shown off, it's insane to me. It feels almost like an ignorant implementation. It's insane. And I know, given the way that the market works, given the way that standards are for percentages that companies take out of certain projects or products, it makes sense. It's fair, but it's ridiculous. That doesn't mean that it shouldn't be discussed or yelled about. It's something where VRChat should have taken that extra 10% hit that they took and given it to the creators. That would have shown humility. It would have shown respect. It would have shown that the people who make the game actually matter instead of the corporations that you're bending your knee to. It is insanity to me. The amount of money that you lose out by using VRChat's marketplace in comparison to something like, say, Booth is insanity. Everywhere you go will, no matter what, take a large percentage or a percentage of what you earn. This is commonplace. Every major digital marketplace, whether that's Steam, GOG, whatever, they're going to want a percentage of your profits. But after I've already paid that percentage of my profits towards your company, what you took from my initial purchase of the game, you should have absolutely no say whatsoever over how much the creator makes on a platform that you may host but you don't own. And I know how the contract works in regard for Steam and all of them, but it's still capitalist bullshit. It doesn't make any sense. From the sense of professional creators, it makes sense, but they're still losing such a large percent of the income that shouldn't be going to Steam or Meta. They're taking way too big of a percentage, and the fact that that is the standard for most industries is insanity to me. I know they need to make money, but it's a joke to any professional creator, if you ask me. It is an absolute fucking joke. That's my opinion anyway. The internet's a fucking crazy weird place. What a standard is may not seem fair to me, and it may seem fair to you, but taking 30%, that being Steam or Meta, however they want to divvy that up, is insanity to me. It is crazy. That is far too fucking much for a digital transaction. That is insanity to me. Sure, okay, maybe API requests cost a little bit of money or what may have you, but they're already making money off of people fucking, I don't know. I don't know. I know VRChat's free to play and Steam needs to make their money somehow, but the way that it's been implemented and shown to us so far just feels like a capitalist push towards making us invest in something that we don't want to invest in. And of course, other platforms are going to do similar things, and even if they are the same in the regard of percentage splits, it still would be an unfair number. The case in VRChat, I feel like it's deserving of a lot more criticism because they are the standard. They are the standard for what it is to be a VR platform, for what it is to give a social experience. And what I've seen from this recent update is just a go fuck yourself to the creators. It just smells of capitalism. It smells of investors. It smells rancid. I wanted it to be something positive, something that would be beneficial for everyone. Not only professional or smaller creators, but something that would thrive and bring creativity to a level that we've never experienced before. And I genuinely believe it still will, but I don't know. What we've seen so far in the past couple of days has been pretty fucking sad. A lot of people are very upset, like myself. Some people are very accepting and just take it as a gift from God. In reality, there are better ways to source your income instead of using VRChat's internal system. And the majority of creators are still going to use things like Patreon or Booth. That is just a fact. Now, what are the positive benefits of something like this? There's an insane amount of benefits that can come from a creator economy, but it needs to be fair for all parties involved. And when I say fair for all parties involved, I mean in the sense of these corporations may have a hand in it and they have a hand in hosting the platform or providing certain technologies, but that's impacting the people who's creating your experience in the first place and who build your product in the first place. People have always been able to make anything for VR. People have always been able to develop for VR, both professionally or at home by yourself with no knowledge. But VRChat's been slowly going further and further into what I can only describe as corporatism. It feels more corporate now than ever. And I know I'm not the only one who feels that. The way that it's been talked about, the way that we've seen it shown off or displayed to us, it feels very corporate. Now, we've known a creator economy was going to be in the game for a long time now. At some point, it was bound to happen. But as Crispy just put it, the platform is drifting. And that's true. VRChat started off as a place where corporatism wasn't really a thought. You didn't have to worry about, are the developers actually the people making the choices, or are some investors basically making you force content out that's not ready yet? Now, as a system, it holds immense promise. It is an incredible idea to bring the community together and to fund smaller creators. It should, in theory and hopefully in practice, create more quality content for everyone to enjoy. But the problem is, it really feels like it's just kind of ending up like IMVU or SL in the terms of how it will be used to monetize. We will see major worlds monetized to an extreme. We will see worlds specifically blocked behind monetization, which is fine for events or activities. But if you look at it from our perspective, VRChat has always been a free Wild West in a lot of ways. And it's very obvious that it's a corporate company now. It has been for a long time, but when I say corporate company, I mean it's not the same that we started on. It's not the same path that we originally were on. And I can feel it. I smell it. It's fucking... This is the home of so many people. It's the home of tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. It's just not the same game anymore. Like Crispy said, things change slowly. Then you take a look and go, hey, this isn't what I first signed up for. When did this happen? And it's been slowly going that direction for a couple of years now, but I don't know. I feel like the implementation of the creator economy was kind of just a go fuck yourself to the creators, alongside the communities who make the game possible. Now, obviously, I'm bitching more so about Steam, Meta, Google, than I am VRChat, because ultimately VRChat needs to make money as well. Them taking the percentage that they do is realistically fair if you look at it objectively. the proportions don't add up. And it's not VRChat's fault. You can blame Steam, Meta, whoever you wish. It's all in the chart they showed off on that YouTube video, which we did make a statement in the comment section on that YouTube video. Everything I said still stands true. I hope it's a positive addition to the game, and I hope it will bring phenomenal creations that we've never experienced before. But ultimately, the way it feels right now is just bad. I don't like it. We haven't had enough time to really experience it, to see how it will affect the general populace. It's far too soon, far too early to say heads or tails about what's right, what's wrong, how it's going to affect people long term. We just don't know yet. But from the initial couple of days of not only listening to the community or communities, it's a lot of people aren't happy with it. And normally I'll excuse some of that as, oh yeah, not everyone's going to be happy about everything. But this is genuinely impactful towards how the community itself, how the game itself is played. And monetizing large aspects of what is traditionally or normally a free experience absolutely decimates a lot of my entertainment value in this platform. It's gonna survive, obviously. This is just another blip in their bullshit meter, but it's an aggravating one because it genuinely feels like it wasn't thought out enough, like there wasn't enough negotiating, like I don't know. It just feels wrong. But the people who were working on it, I don't put any blame on them. I don't feel like it's VRChat's fault necessarily. I don't put any blame on the developers or the people working on the project. In practice, I'm sure it's going to be a phenomenal system, as we have seen similar, well, long before this, Massive Loop actually has one already. But the way that VRChat's gone about it, I don't agree with. And the way that it's going to negatively impact at least our experience will be tangible in a lot of ways. It'll ultimately improve the platform for many, but it'll also degrade the experience for many too. It's one of those changes that was inevitable, and I really don't want to blame VRChat for it. It's something that every platform will eventually do at some point. It's just, now we're going to have advertising. Now we're going to have paid features in worlds that differentiate people from others instead of just set in. If it was like restricting certain experiences or activities or worlds, like you're going to a nightclub and you're selling out tickets and all that shit, it's perfect for events like that. It is a phenomenal system when you apply it like that. But when you apply it to general everyday activities, to worlds that we would use just daily, you're degrading the user experience for everyone by adding who knows how many paid features that ultimately do nothing other than cosmetic changes, fucking restricting the mirror. It's insanity to me. The mirror should not be a restriction, period. You should not have to pay to use a reflective surface in a world. That's horseshit. And whoever fucking does that shouldn't have anybody in their world. I feel like that's one of those moments where you say, fuck that creator, go fuck yourself. We're not paying money to use a fucking mirror. What the fuck is wrong with you? The implementation of it on some degree has been absolute insanity, which is to be expected, but goddamn, like, they fucked up. The implementation of this was fucked. Yes, I know we have personal mirrors now, but that does not defeat the point that I'm making by any means. If you have to pay for mirrors or anything in what is considered an everyday world, a world that thousands of people constantly visit, people need to make money. People need to feed their families. But what the fuck? That kind of monetization is directed towards kids or people who just don't give a fuck, while it completely degrades the experience for everyone else. These kinds of things need to be restricted to certain events, certain situations. It cannot be impacting the everyday lives or everyday experience of the individual, because ultimately you're going to have a majority of your population turn away from spending in-game money to access things that are openly free in the majority of other instances or platforms. You're ultimately putting restrictions on yourself and allowing your creators to put restrictions on themselves that ultimately hurt the quality of the game for a couple of dollars. It's insanity to me. It's crazy to me. These are things that we knew would happen one day. And we knew that the creator economy would come with a lot of rough spots. Ultimately, it will end up being a positive for the majority of the user base, but fuck does it feel really bad right now. It feels uncomfy as a motherfucker to be a community leader talking about it. God, fuck. It's one of those things where now maybe other people will like fuck off of all of the worlds that are super monetized and they'll just die off, completely defeating the point of monetizing them in the first place. We're going to see exactly that on certain worlds when they get heavily monetized. People will just stop using it, completely obliterating the point of its existence in the first place. We will see it happen. And the places that do have a lot of microtransactions, guess who the population is going to be primarily? Children. It's going to mainly be fucking children spending their parents' credit cards, buying these cosmetics, buying these in-game features for worlds. It's not going to be used in the way that it's intended to, at least for a lot of its population. And it really opens the door for, in my opinion, a lot of potential litigation, because now they're selling assets that ultimately could belong to a different IP or a different company unknowingly. Who knows the level of fucking legal trouble that this opened as soon as they started thinking about this. I can't imagine what would happen if Disney came in and they were like, you guys are selling fucking Mickey Mouse avatars? What the fuck? Why aren't we getting any money? That's exactly what's going to happen one day. It's going to either be take your shit off the platform or we sue you or we're getting money. We've seen it before and we will see it here. There's a free mirror in your menu. Joke or not, it still definitely showcases the state and mind space of VRChat. As a whole, like I said in the comment we made on the YouTube video, I think it will be a positive for the community. I might be bitching about it and I might be really angry about it, but that's more so because I fucking hate capitalism. I fucking hate when companies take shares that I don't believe belongs to them. I know Steam hosts VRChat, but ultimately they're not the ones making the model. They may host the content, but it's a lot of fucking money, man. It's insane. Now, whenever we see any other platform do this, it will have more or less the exact same statistics. It wouldn't make sense otherwise if they're also on Steam, as Steam will a majority of the time take 30% of your transaction. Now, when we see other platforms go into this, it'll have a similar split no matter what. If it's not a 50, 30, 20, it'll be something similar. Now, that may be what's going to be the standard for VR, and that's fair. But those other companies don't need to be meddling in VRChat's business and my business. They need to get their fucking hands off of our VR platforms and stop taking money that belongs to both VRChat and its creators. It's insanity to me that we just accept that. There is no way in hell, in any world, that Steam should be allowed to take 30% of any cut. It may be what is most widely considered the best and most accessible, easily usable platform for gaming, period. But you'd think they don't need all of that extra fucking money. You'd think they could actually stop yoinking little fucking shekels away from the user base, but no. Every percent counts. And I get it. Companies have to make money. But if you're leaving VRChat with 20% and then sticking the rest of us with 50's fair by societal modern standards. But it is not ideologically fair by any means to its creators or to the people developing on it. Especially in the case of extreme creations, things that took months or years to work on, it's insulting. It's insane to me. Creators should no matter what, this is a perfect world, this will never happen. Creators should get 70%, the rest 30. That's a fair world. 20% to the platform, 10% to whoever the fuck else wants it. That would be an ideal, perfect system, which we will never get. Steam would never let it go that low. Meta, Google would never let it go that low. So we're going to have to deal with it. And that's okay, because ultimately the majority of creators are going to be smart enough not to post a lot of their shit on there. And if they do, they're still going to use alternatives. Now, I don't want this to come across as don't use it. It will ultimately be a very big positive, both for up-and-coming creators and established. But it's really hard not to be angry about how it currently does. Patreon doesn't have to host stuff. Yeah, no one has to host anything. They're companies. They can do what they want, which is one of the reasons why I'm sitting here shit-talking the current situation with the VR creator economy. But yeah, when we see other platforms doing something similar, it will be about the same. And I'm not giving them shit. I've already given shit to who needs shit given. I get it. Companies want a lot of your fucking money, and it's not VRChat's fault. Almost any company that's on Steam and that has a business model like this is going to be forced into the same situation, which ultimately sucks. It really genuinely does. It's the trade-off between having that accessibility for your platform and, well, someone gets the short end of the stick. And unfortunately, it's the VR platform, which fucking blows. But right now, the creator economy feels unfinished. It feels like it shouldn't have been implemented. I'm struggling with it. It's making my fucking hair turn gray, all of the shit that came out because of that situation. Dude, fuck. Fuck that cigarette. Let's get some water. But yeah, bad implementation, bad announcement, not a great time all around. I don't blame VRChat. I don't want to make it sound like this is the worst thing to ever happen in the world. I'm just really fucking passionate and really fucking pissed off. Because to me and to fucking a lot of other people, it feels like they're flipping us off. And I know it's not VRChat's fault. You would run into the same exact situation with, say, if CVR did it, it would be more or less the same exact deal. Whenever Massive Loop gets onto Steam, it'll probably be the exact same deal, as it's an unfair industry standard that they have to abide by because of Steam, because of these other platforms. God damn it, Charno. Fuck. Poicast channels are still, but I thought I fixed that. I feel like Discord fucked me, because I reverted all of the permissions on the channels and it seems like some of them are still fucked up. I'll look into that. But to outline the situation so we can move on, overall, I think it'll be a positive implementation. I'm not necessarily pissed at VRChat. I'm more pissed about the handling of the situation and how it feels coming off to me. It really feels just overly corporate and rushed and not ready. It just doesn't feel right. As somebody who's been playing the game for 6 years, I feel like I deserve to have a little input in saying this doesn't feel right. I think it's a step in the right direction in some ways, but it's going to be a hard fucking time to iron it out. It'll be rough, man. It's going to be an experience like every other update, but it'll always be playable. The game will always be palatable. You will always be able to get on VRChat no matter what, even if the game has a lot of downsides like what I've discussed. Ultimately, I hope this fosters creation to a degree that we've never seen before. And I hope that, well, this should be a positive overall. And ultimately, it's kind of not because of companies outside of VRChat. This should be a joyous occasion. Creators are able to share their creations in-game without having to go through the extra hassle, the extra steps. But it kind of feels like we just got insulted. I don't know. It'll be a good thing. It'll just take a while before it becomes a good thing, and before people know how to utilize it properly, before it's applied in a way that's, well, reasonable. We'll see outlier cases of extreme advertisement or extreme monetization, which make absolutely no sense, but it'll happen. And you know what'll happen to the worlds that go heavy into monetization, heavy into restricting access? People are going to stop using them, and you're not going to make any money. Your world will die. We've seen it before on other games. It will happen here. There has to be a fine balance between monetization and gameplay, but if you're going to monetize pre-existing worlds to a degree that changes how it plays, don't do that. Just don't do that. We're not going to get into that argument. It's fucking ridiculous. What in the fuck is that, Data? You just send like an encrypted fucking password to your like Hapu headpat stash? No, you don't have to pay for mirrors and stuff. Certain worlds will ultimately implement similar decisions or actions, but it's not a global thing. It'll ultimately be in the hands of the individual, the creator, for how this is applied and how this is utilized. Ultimately, the majority of people will use it in what I can only hope is a respectable manner, but it's VRChat. It is the degenerate cesspool of the internet. I can't think of anything closer to it other than 4chan. It's a cesspool. It's an amazing, incredible place. But fuck. I love this platform. I've been on it forever. I love everybody that I've met, and it's been an amazing time. But fuck, man. This is not what I signed up for. I want more transparency. I want more conversation with the community. I want the people who play the game to feel like they actually matter in the scheme of, well, why am I even on here? You know? It's one of those things where every update, we get hit with another go fuck yourself. Both the community and a lot of the time us as users as well. Whether that's in bug breaks that were just not thought out and not fixed, or otherwise that sometimes last for years. We've had bugs that have lasted for years, even though people have pointed it out to developers over the years, time and time again. It's insane. It's insane. I'm just really fed up. I've been on here a long time, man. I do my best not to get angry about things, but the recent update just really rubbed me the wrong way, both ideologically and on a personal level. It's rough, man. It'll be a great thing in the long run, and we will see amazing creations, but we will also see worlds go into the fucking gutter. We will see people try to monetize creations that are not worth pennies on the fucking dime, but they'll put it up for $50, $100. We will see the market flooded with imitations and copies of pre-existing models. We will see avatars that are fucking ripped being sold on the platform that we all play. I don't think it's ready, and I don't think it should be implemented yet. I don't think it's going to be a positive for the first couple of months, but it will ultimately bring the community together in the sense of people will have an income source. It will be a positive for so many creators that I can't even comprehend just how positively this will affect. So, on the note of that, Jarno, they're already there. They're already at that point. As I said earlier in the Poicast. But now that people have the option to charge money for basically anything, it's insanity what's going to occur. Now, this is something that should have been expected from the beginning. A platform of this scale, it's always going to happen. And it's something that I think is a positive, or should be a positive for the platform. Something that brings the community together. A way to share creations. A way to share what you've made with others. And I think that's exactly how it's going to be used in the majority of cases. I really want to say that these situations with worlds will be outliers. You know, one-offs here and there. But there's so many unknowns to a decision like this, and there's so little information that I feel like needed to be brought up or discussed, to where I'm left with so many questions and so many concerns. How will this affect this? How will this affect communities? How will this affect the game as a whole? We have plenty of sources that we can reference, whether that's SL, IMVU, Roblox. Ultimately, I think the best one out of all of those in monetization, as cursed as it sounds, is Roblox. Don't follow IMVU for your fucking... No. Don't. Don't take after IMVU, dude. That's fucking wild. But my last thought on it, I think it'll be a positive influence overall. And I think it'll be amazing for smaller creators and larger alike. I'm just pissed off at corporations. And I'm just pissed off about how it was implemented and how it's being brought out to us. I hold no ill will towards VRChat or their developers for it. It's something that we expected to happen. I'm just kind of angry about it. While saying that, though, with their API being down last night, we had to cancel our raids, which was kind of fucked. If you were in a active instance, you were basically trapped there for an hour and a half. If you tried to leave, you would not be able to use any of your menu since the API was completely down. And it sucked. It really sucked. It was a bad time. We were having a great time, too. The event was going really good. So, you know what we did? There were two parties. One of them stayed and counted avatars. Wait. I love you. I'm having lunch at 4:15. Fuck. Okay, I can wrap up the Poicast by then, but that defeats the purpose of this being long. I also have something else, but I'll bring that up later. Yeah, you're okay, baby. I'll pick you up. That just means I'll have more to be angry about next Poicast. But yeah, so what did we do? Well, VRChat's not working. We've got a perfectly good platform, Massive Loop. It's just sitting right over there. So I kidnapped about maybe 10, 12 of us, and we just started going around Massive Loop, fucking exploring worlds, finding bugs. We accidentally did a mini event because VRChat crashed and died. And guess what? It was a good fucking time, man. It was a lot of fun. We found a couple of bugs. We found a couple of things of note. But it was really fun to kidnap the Hapus from a platform that was actively being destroyed to something that's overall pretty fucking fun and stable. We got to blow each other up. We got to race. We got to have a good time. So if VRChat ever goes down while I'm hosting a raid, there's a pretty good chance we're just going to swap over to Massive Loop. While saying that, though, we did have a lot of fun. It was interesting trying to find bugs and trying to, see if there's anything that we could help improve on. We noticed a few things, but we've already reported any bugs, issues. Basically, anything that we've encountered, we've already brought up to the developers. And we will go back on there Friday. We're going to attend the next happy hour event. This time, I would like it to be in force, in the sense of I'd like a lot more than 10 Hapus. We'll have a monetary prize for most bugs found, and we'll also have a special role, or badge, however you want to put that, in the Abyssal Order Discord. But basically, whoever finds the most bugs in an hour time span during the next happy hour, we're going to give you $50 and a special role for whoever finds the most. But yeah, so I thought that'd be a cool way to help them out, and a cool way for us to be able to make the platform more enjoyable for us as well. Since unlike VRChat, Massive Loop actually fucking listens to their community and makes changes based off of what the community's suggesting. So it's kind of a no-given that we would want to spend more time there. While saying that, though, fuck. VRChat's my home in a lot of ways. This place built me up and made me in so many more ways than I can describe, both personally and professionally. It's taken me places that I could have never imagined or even considered. And it may sound like I'm going all doom and gloom about VRChat. This platform won't die. A little bump in the road like this is nothing. It might piss me off in the moment, but down the line, this will be seen as a positive. Even with the negatives that will accrue over time, this will bring the community together in ways that we haven't seen yet. And it will allow creators, both big and small, to be able to focus mainly on content creation if they don't already do it. It opens up revenue streams for so many that otherwise may not have it. Whether you're a talented and well-known creator or somebody still just starting out, it gives you so many revenue streams or so many options for revenue streams. It's incredible to me. Which is why when Massive Loop was the first one to do all of this, the first one to have a economy and all that jazz, I like how they do it. I like how their vision is for the system. It makes sense to me. It works. VRChat is just mind-numbing. On the note of Chill Out VR, my original statement of go fuck yourself still stands. The Hapu Foundation will not be interacting with Chill Out VR or its developers alongside any of our subsidiaries. This has been a long-standing, well, whatever you want to call it, but I've been saying CVR can go fuck itself for a while. We are not friendly with them. We have no wish to be on that platform. So, yeah, anyway. I don't know if I'd call it beef. Just the community was not nice. We did not like the community at all. It was not a fun time. It's a very interesting platform, and I like a lot of what they have done. But ultimately, it feels like a VRChat ripoff where the majority of the hackers and gang monkeys went because they were sad boys that they got banned, which is where the majority of the original user base came from. It was mostly sad hacker boys or people who thought VRChat was all doom and gloom and just abandoned the platform. It's insane to me that it's still around, honestly. But we had minor issue with some of the developers, and we had a very big issue with a lot of the community, as the majority of the community were, well, rejects of VRChat, to put it mildly. It's a cool platform, and I'm sure they're doing great. But as far as I'm concerned, the Hapu Foundation, any Abyssal community that is relating to us will not be on there. It's dead to us. It can go fuck itself. On that note, we have seen some stuff from Resonant, but we won't talk about it too much. I'm kind of excited to see where that's going. But the main focus for us in terms of VR platforms is VRChat and Massive Loop Metaverse. I know Chillout's probably doing pretty good, but we don't care, to be entirely fair. We abandoned our community for that a long time ago. And I'd say it was a pretty good decision. We've moved on to greener pastures, if you will. But yeah, it's a fair question. CVR is a very prominent and up-and-coming VR project, VR platform. We just personally don't like it and have a lot of issue with the community and some of the developers. Let's see. I know we missed last Poicast. It's been kind of weird. I'm not going to get into everything, but they need to get rid of the metaverse bit. I have to agree. I think Massive Loop's name would be a lot better as just Massive Loop, because the metaverse implies, now that Meta has their own metaverse, it makes me immediately think of that. But yeah, I think with the backing of the Hapu Foundation, Massive Loop can get boosted a bit. Yeah, I agree. We've been helping Massive Loop out wherever we can, attending events, helping them find bugs. I see it as a platform that has a lot of potential, something that could rival VRChat one day, given enough time, attention, and development. And the people behind the project are incredible. I mean, I fucking love Chi and William. They're great people. It's been awesome working with them. And being able to have Hapus on the platform test stuff out has been really fun. We've had so many janky and cool experiences, and I've enjoyed it, which is why I keep bringing us back. East is still up. Last message said it should move to Neos. Is it really? I thought I deleted it. Is the server still up? I'm dead. My hand died and I have to pick her up soon. So we're going to do this with one hand. But here's my stance on CVR, Massive Loop, Neos, all of the platforms. listen, I might shit talk some of you to the extreme. Overall, I'm just happy that they exist. We might give CVR a lot of bullshit because we don't like them, but I'm glad that they're a competitor. I'm glad that they're making VRChat kick themselves up the ass and go into gear, because that benefits everyone. It benefits all of the users when there's more competition, which is another reason why I really want Massive Loop to grow and become something bigger and better than, well, you could ever imagine, because there's room for growth. People want more platforms. People want diversity. The only thing is accessibility. But, oh well. Until Massive Loop fixes the Steam VR menu, I can't play it or else I'll throw up. That's fair. I appreciate y'all coming in and testing, because a bunch of you did come in and help me figure out a bunch of problems, which was really nice. But the best way to put it is competition benefits everyone. And I know that is a capitalist statement, but it's true, and I agree with it. Massive Loop success is success for all of us. CVR success, Resonant success, it benefits all of us. Having competition is amazing, but VRChat does have a monopoly on the VR social space, and that's not right. It's not. There are platforms out there that are just as good. They're just not populated. They're not known about, because VRChat is the VR social platform, and it's time for that to change. There is plenty of competition out there, and you already know which one we support. You know that the Hapu Foundation is going to be on VRChat and Massive Loop. We've already picked our side in that battle. I still despise everything meta almost illogically so. That's fair. I can't cap at that. That's fair. I can't. That is just fair. God. I'll have to go pick my girlfriend up from work soon, so we'll talk a little bit longer. I'm sorry it's not as long as I planned it to be. I was going to rant about the VRChat creator economy for a little longer, and I really want to bitch about some other stuff, but I'll keep it short and sweet. Sorry for the lack of a podcast last week. I wasn't feeling good, and I've been pretty busy. I'm going to be entirely real with you. My heart hurts. I am fucking stressed, like really badly. But it'd be like that. It'd just be one of those times. I kind of feel like whenever I got good things going on, a bunch of stuff just has to happen to tell you to go fuck yourself from the universe. That's really how it's felt the past month. One thing after another has just been a motherfucker to me. But it is what it is. Things have been fun. People have been, still doing raids, still attending events, and still enjoying what VRChat provides to us. What VR as a whole provides to us, which is boundless creation, boundless imagination. What you can do in VR is ultimately up to you. The only limitation is your imagination. God, I was born at a good time to be able to experience this shit, to be able to get angry about something as small as a creator economy with percentages that ultimately on a large scale don't matter. It's incredible. Meta Horizons is not set up for escapism. Creating a look for your character that isn't a real representation of yourself is just weird. I agree with that. I fully agree with that. I think Meta's version of the metaverse was a complete fucking failure. In terms of how they tried to monopolize their user base and what they thought was good for the for VR, they didn't read the room, man. That's literally it. They just did not read the room. They developed something that they thought everybody would like, when in reality, it might appeal to a certain demographic of normal, everyday people, but not to your everyday VR user. Which is one of the reasons why I like to promote VRChat or Massive Loop so much, is because both of the platforms are simple. And you can be and express yourself however you want, which is incredible to me. Being able to be whoever you want, whether you're, there we go, one-handed movement's bad. You can be whatever you want to be. You can express yourself however you want to express yourself. You want to be a man, a woman, a fish, a turkey, a duck, whatever. Be who you want to be. VR allows for it. And it's ultimately up to the individual, up to you, what you make of your experience. Whether it's something crazy and magical or something mundane and normal, it's ultimately up to you, the individual. And the same goes for how these companies are ran, how they function. If enough people have issue with something, things will change. There's a reason voting works, even though people say voting doesn't work. It does. It may not seem like it does, but it does. We need to tell Chi and William that people are mistaking Massive Loop for Meta Horizon Worlds. I'm dead. I had the thought that might happen. I had that thought in the back of my mind because it's possible. The name Metaverse at the end of Massive Loop made me think of Meta's Horizon a couple of times in the past. I could totally see it. Because people in the chat have already confirmed that they thought Massive Loop was a part of... I'm dead! Thank you to the viewers watching this. That's amazing. That's awesome. Apparently, portions of the viewership are saying that they thought Massive Loop Metaverse was connected to Meta because of the Metaverse name. That's sad. Metaverse has been around for a long time. But I could see the correlation there. I could totally get the mistake. But to be fair, Massive Loop is a lot fucking better in every single way than Meta's fucking bullshit. God. So, I know we spent most of this Poicast bitching about VRChat and talking about Massive Loop. Sorry, my heart hurts a lot right now. The Hapus are doing good. Overall, it looks like events and activities have been pretty good. I haven't seen anything too crazy going on, anything too bad. It looks like there's been a general downturn in the overall population for the majority of, active communities. I've kind of noticed that a lot of people are kind of busy right now, whether that's with school, real life. It's kind of just a really bad month, apparently. Because so far, the past 2-3 weeks, it's just been weird for everyone. Fuck. Sorry. I've been really fucking stressed out about a couple of things relating to VRChat and the communities. Getting angry about all of that has not helped my heart. Fuck. So anyway, before I have an anxiety attack out of anger, we're going to talk about a few other things. I've said this before in the past a lot. This still stands. The Hapu Foundation and any of our communities, whether that's future ones or current, like our police, we don't interact with other communities. That is a fact. We will sparsely do it when I'm around, but otherwise, we are isolationist. We have no want, will, or need to interact with others. Whether they're of our own kin or of a different brand, we don't want to interact. Leave us alone. When we want to interact with others, we will come. We will initiate. Otherwise, we're not interacting because we want to be left alone. So please, do us the honor of letting the Hapus be. We have no wish to be involved in other communities' drama, politics, or the general ongoings outside of our sphere and realm. So, while saying that, leave us alone. Thank you. We will interact with whatever community we feel is appropriate when we feel it is appropriate. So to anyone who's asked us for interactions, for the people who have been pressing us, we are not going to interact if we're asked. It will not happen. What, Lang? Dude, I have to beat the LPD guys off of me with a stick these days, but I do it staunchly because I literally do not care. Dude, it really do be like that sometimes. It really do be like that. I've noticed that too. We've had a couple of different LPD patrols around our police a little uncomfortably, to be fair. We have had groups analyzing our other groups, and we're not exactly a fan of it. But overall, it should be pretty well known by now. The Hapu Foundation is isolationist. We don't interact unless we, well, openly want to. And the only time that we generally will is if I'm the one initiating it. So in general, if you're a part of another community, we abide by your rules pretty well for the most part. We do our best to make sure everything's kosher and cool for everyone. Just do me a favor. Leave us alone. It's all we ever want, is to be left alone. I mean, we don't need to integrate with other communities when we are the biggest on VRChat that are stable. That's true. Yeah, we don't deal with the UPD or any of that. That's a topic for a different day. They get points for collecting Hapus. We're worth 5 points. That's fucking sad. Holy shit. I'm dead. I know that was a really ecstatic reaction, but that is fucked. Get fucking points for collecting a Hapu. We don't interact with any other communities. The only interaction that we have between other communities is between myself and their leadership. Just putting that out there now. That's funny as fuck. I'm dead. But yeah, we respect all other communities. We respect other projects. We do our best not to interfere with others. It's just, we have been bothered a little bit more in recent memory in ways that we don't exactly appreciate. So in general, if we could be left alone, thank you. While saying that though, we will interact with other communities at our own pace. And on the note of being banned from communities that we consider friendly, or at least in that realm, if you have a predisposed issue with, we'll use the LPD as an example since it was brought up earlier in the chat. Generally, if you're banned from there and you bring it up, you're going to get banned from here too. We may not share information or anything like that, but if you're getting yourself banned from one of the other largest virtual reality roleplay communities, that's going to raise a lot of red flags immediately without me even asking a question. So anyway. And to the Hapus who get asked questions by other groups, give them as little information as possible. Do not explain what we do. We've done it in the past plenty, and at this point we're just being bothered to be bothered. So ignore it. What else? We'll steal their toys and block their toilets. Okay, I've got to go pick up my girlfriend. Before I do, let me check something real quick. Is it up and ready? I've been waiting on YouTube to upload something for like 2 hours. So, real quick. Oh, Jesus, I am not where I was. Ah, shit, that hand's dead, that's right. So, before we end this Poicast, my suggestion to you, if people ask what a Hapu is, what we do, just give the most vague non-answers, period. That's what Lang does. That's what I do most of the time. It's fun to keep what we do as not necessarily a secret, but it ruins the immersion, and especially when we're being dissected by members of other communities for even the most bare basic of information about us. It's not cool. It's not fun. So, anyway. Fuck, I've been talking too much. I feel my heart really bad. They asked me about the APD. Bad time to read that after taking a hit. Apparently the LPD asked Lang about the APD mages, and he literally said, he didn't burp at them. He didn't burp at them a second time either. He literally said it's magic. I fucking love that, dude. That is the best answer ever. Keep it vague. Keep it fun. Don't spoil the surprise. And in terms of other groups interacting with us, hey, it happens. I don't mind if you wanna just casually, but we just leave us alone. That's it. Anyway, overall, it looks like things have been going pretty good, both on VRChat and Massive Loop. It sounds like Resonance doing pretty good too. So anyway, I'm sorry this podcast wasn't longer. I would have liked it to be at least 3 hours minimum, as I'm gonna be real with you. I want to talk about shit really badly. I really want to talk about VRChat and its current state, the direction that it's going in. I want to talk about Massive Loop. I want to talk about all of the potential that's out there that is not being utilized or harnessed. But anyway, now on the note of positivity, I just put out another video. I think it's uploaded now. I pressed the button a minute ago. I'll post the link somewhere, probably Self-Poimotions. But it covers a couple of topics, mainly positivity in a general sense around VR, but it talks about different applications for how VR has helped people. It talks about certain mental disorders that I struggle with and I've seen others, and how it's affected them and, well, positively impacted so many people. The change it's had on industries, on the individual, what it's done for mental health, and the impact of, well, ultimately the technology that we use right now to convey this message. I hope everybody likes it. Originally, I was going to have a team help me make it. I'm struggling in that field, so it's not as good as I wanted it to be, but it talks about everything I want it to talk about. And it's points that I feel are pretty near and dear. But hopefully you guys will enjoy that. And I appreciate everybody coming by and watching the Poicast. Next Poicast will be a long one. We'll have a lot to catch up on. Why can't you sign up for Massive Loop data? We'll leave that as the last one as soon as I answer it. But yeah, I talked about the positive impact of virtual reality and Massive Loop in general. So hopefully all of you guys enjoy that video. Hopefully the folks over at Massive Loop enjoy it. It's not as edited as I wanted it to be, but I'm already a couple days late and I feel bad about it. I worked on it for a while. The script is very fucking long. And I wanted to be really careful about what words I used and how I talked about it in the most sense. And I think I did a really good job conveying what I wanted to, but I almost made myself cry making it. I got really sad. I got really sad when it was supposed to be really positive, but one part just made me fucking no. Anyway, thanks everybody for attending this Poicast. I don't know if we're doing any activities afterwards. I doubt it. But thanks for attending, and I hope all of you guys have fun. I gotta go pick up my girlfriend, but as we've noticed, owner of ministry, as long as it's okay, that's a topic for a different day. As long as it's not the ministry I think you're talking about, we're good. If it is, then I'm gonna have some questions. I'm gonna be real. But overall, thank you guys for coming out. My other controller just died. I hope everybody enjoyed my rant. And come back next week for the same thing, or check out the new video that I just posted on my channel. I think you guys will like it. And I think that's it. I'd like to turn off the stream, but I don't have hands. I'm doing it. Oh. Where is it? But yeah, thanks again for everybody attending. Go have some fun. Go get some positivity in your life, man. It's been a depressing month for a lot of us. And I know it's been hard for a lot of us. Go have fun. Go play a game. Go hang out with some friends. Do something that'll make you happy. Thanks, everyone.